Let's speak now to pollster and strategist Dr. Frank Luntz, who joins us on the line now. It's probably morning to you now. Early morning, late evening?
Yes, it's a very early morning, and I think you're my 13th hit in the last 24 hours. So if I'm a little punch drunk, I apologize.
Lucky 13. We'll take it. Look, listen, how is it doing in terms of what you predicted, the results that you're seeing so far? Because from what we're seeing, from my layman's perspective, it looks as though it's not quite as big a hit for the Democrats as was being anticipated.
Absolutely. And let me be clear about it. As people wake up this morning, about 5-6 hours, there are going to be a lot of Democrats who say, oh, my God, we survived. The Republicans win the House. And that is a big blow for Joe Biden. Whether the Democrats take the Senate, we're not going to know for days. And it may even be weeks, depending on what happens in Georgia. But the House is secure in Republican hands. But that is not a red wave. That is not a red tsunami. It's a strong victory. It's a successful victory. But there are a lot of Democrats who think it could have been a lot worse, and a lot of Republicans will be very disappointed in a few hours.
Why is that the case? It hasn't been the red wave. It doesn't look like it is so far. It looks a little bit more pink right now. Not as bruising for the Democrats as it might have been suggested. Why is that?
It may have been because of a sense that, and this goes back to 2020, if you feel that the election was stolen in 2020, why vote? If you feel like they're going to miscount your ballots, why participate? By the way, that is a perfect graphic for this conversation. And I wonder, even if 2% of Republicans stayed home, because Donald Trump told them your vote doesn't matter, he keeps telling them that the election is rigged, that the so-called big lie that Joe Biden won. This is his mission. And he may have succeeded in keeping some Republicans at home. And I think it's a very big story and one that we're going to analyze in the days to come.
Fascinating. Look, I just want to bring some breaking news to our audience and get your perspective on it. We're hearing that the Pennsylvania Senate race has actually just been won by John Fetterman, which means it's the flipping of a key state for the Democrats. That's significant.
It is significant, and it means that the only state that now is in the way of the Democrats keeping the Senate is Georgia. And all eyes will go to Georgia. And this is the second time in 2 years that Georgia has been the deciding state in the U.S. Senate. They like being the center of attention. Well, now the entire news media, the entire world is going to descend on Fulton County to figure out what happens, because I believe that when all the votes are counted, neither candidate right now in this Senate race will have a majority. And so they're going to have to do a runoff in a couple of weeks.
Goodness, and that's been a really kind of dirty race, if you like, hasn't it? Anyway, with Herschel Walker endorsed by Trump, big football star over in Georgia, first time into politics, but talking about anti-abortion, and then this revelation that actually he'd paid for a girlfriend of his to have an abortion, so claimed to be a liar by his own son, a hypocrite, and actually it's been presumably quite damaging for the Republicans in Georgia, that race.
And then how do you explain that he got exactly the same number as his Democratic opponent? Maybe the Democratic opponent is too extreme for Georgia. Maybe the Democratic opponent, Warnock, doesn't represent the people of Georgia. I'm not saying that that's the case, but you have two candidates there that are less than ideal in a state that's been through this situation 2 years ago, and it's about to go through exactly the same situation right now. In one sense, it's American democracy that works because you have a runoff and the Democrats and Republicans are evenly divided. But in another sense, in the sense that I'm most afraid of, that you're going to have more people that believe that these elections are not run the way they should be run.
Well, Dr. Frank Luntz, really good to talk to you this morning. Thank you for staying up so late for us.